All right, good afternoon and welcome everyone to this final edition of the MSP Success webinar series here at the end of the year. I've got 2/3 of our panel so far, still looking for the third of the panel, but we've got Pedro Nunez. Pedro's up in the Boston area. We've got Brian Johnson sitting out in the snow here as well. He's actually on vacation out in Colorado. Maybe something you could do when you put more of that money in your pocket as an MSP. And then we've got Ryan Tice, the Chief Strategy Officer. I think Ryan, we'll use that as your title for this, Chief Strategy Officer of Connect Booster, on the call here today. And really what we're talking about on this is putting more cash in your pockets and strategies for, like, how do you actually, when you're working as an MSP, we didn't do starting up an MSP to be able to be going into the collections business here. You want that money as fast as possible in your pockets here. And that's really what Connect Booster is all about, of doing that in a fast, productive, economical way of being able to go about of doing this and doing it where you're putting your best professional foot forward for your customers as well. So you don't look like, even if you're a $2 million, $3, $5 million MSP, you don't look like rinky-dink little company compared to others that are out there. So, as we're getting started here, why don't we first do this where we'll have those that are not familiar with Brian and Pedro. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. So Pedro, why don't we start with you?
Oh boy. Pedro Nunez, CEO of IT Management Solutions, service in the New England area. Been an MSP for the past 12 years. We're about $4 million and about 17 employees right now. We were about 21 employees and we made some cuts recently. And that's, we service many different verticals. We got customers throughout the US. And we've been using Connect Booster for over a decade, for about a decade, I think.
Okay. Awesome. Ryan, how about you?
Brian Johnson, ABC Technology, and we're out of Indianapolis. And like Jeff said, this week out of Colorado. So took this picture behind me this morning, actually. Came off the ski slopes to come in for this. So, otherwise, we do one thing. We have kind of an interesting vertical. A major portion of our customers are local government and public libraries. And I'm sure we'll talk at one point in this conversation about how that impacts Connect Booster and some of our decisions around it. But that's us.
Okay. So, and then Ryan, what's your background? How long have you been with Connect Booster?
I've been with Connect Booster, the parent of Connect Booster, since 2007, so about 15 and a half years. So okay. I was part of the team that launched Connect Booster originally. And I've done basically every role within the business. And today I'm the I guess, if you will, the general manager of everything revolving around go-to-market, so sales, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, worked with a few thousand MSPs throughout my time, and get to see a unique picture of, what works and what doesn't, and what the leaders in the MSP community are doing that are a little bit different than what might be the status quo.
How many MSPs are using Connect Booster to automate their payments, to get paid faster in the business, to be more professional?
It's about 2,450.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So let's talk about a little bit, Brian, I'll start with you on this, is that in your business, you said you've been using Connect Booster a number of years. What were you doing before you using Connect Booster as a system?
Yeah, I think we've been on Connect Booster about 2 years now. And prior to that, we all receivables were checks, paper checks. So, and that worked to a point, but as volume increases, if for no other reason, the labor of processing those becomes challenging. and of course, there's a lot of other reasons as well to move, but that was one immediate driver for us right there.
Yeah, so I mean, with that of the driving of checks, what did you end up seeing? Do you know what the turnaround time would be of when you're emailing out, mailing, however it is that they're getting their invoice, that it would come back in? That seems like there would be a big delay, or like, what do you see in that with especially with your niche in the government space?
Yeah, I mean, so the good thing in the government space, we don't have a lot of collections issues, but that doesn't mean it's paid quickly. So we would, there would be a delay there. We, occasionally checks would get lost in the mail. There's various problems that happen with that process. So, certainly, we're able to turn things around quicker once we move to Connect Booster.
Yeah, what have you seen on the difference of the acceleration of cash flow once you've gone? And maybe talk a little bit about kind of the adoption rate that you're seeing. You're in a unique market with public libraries, government. I know they like to do things a little backwards sometimes. Perhaps they want to send out those physical checks, but you're still getting a pretty good adoption rate on that.
Yeah, I'd have to check the exact percentage, but we do have a decent adoption rate, and we try to, as we bring on new clients, of course, we try to set the expectation up front, and that makes it easier than if you're trying to change existing behavior. We did come out of the gate pushing it fairly strongly with existing clients. Hey, we got this great thing for you. We want to move you to it. And not everybody agreed that it was, great, because they had the way they wanted to do it themselves. From the client side. So we kind of had to take a gentler approach with a number of the existing clients, and just try to get them to convert where we could. And some of them do have some very specific requirements within there that they need to do checks. And, obviously we're going to support that where needed. But yeah, I mean, just from a time frame perspective, I mean, I'm sure we turned around. I'm sure we cut receivable times at least in half of the, and more than that with the ones that we were able to get on auto payment, which we again try to do, but we've taken a nicer, easier, gentler approach with most of those government clients because they have certain of their own criteria. So we do have business clients other than government clients, and we do, especially as we add new clients, we try to set the expectation up front now. Auto pay and just get that out of the gate. So
do you see a lot of pushback at all on new clients when you're approaching it that way, or is it just?
So we see some pushback, not a lot, but some. I do think even if they don't go on auto pay, it's easier for us to collect because they don't have an excuse of, well, we did have some clients in the past that would be problem payers, and then you talk to them and, I put it in the mail, and and you go through that, and we've eliminated a lot of those problems with those business clients that we have.
What do you see of that, of the affecting? I know you said it took it down in about half of what your receivables typically were, or your speed of getting paid cut in half on this, and that's the only getting half of your clients or about half of your receivables every month that's coming in. What do you see that from a cash flow perspective for you of how much more money are you having in your pocket, in your bank account, because of when you switched over?
Well, we're just accelerating payments. So, if we're billing typically somewhere between 100, 200,000 a month, then, we're accelerating half of that to quicker pay. So.
Yeah, so you're getting that a whole lot faster and predictably that you've got that's coming through with it, without the my dog ate my homework or ate the check excuse.
Checks in the mail. Hey, can you resend that invoice? Right, those two.
Let's switch over to Pedro over here. I don't want to ignore Pedro. in the top left corner for me. So
This is the
Pedro-
longest I've seen Pedro not talk, I think.
Pedro, you've been using Connect Booster for 13 years, so yeah, I don't even know if you know what you were using before here on this. What were you doing before? Do you remember?
Yeah, just into it.
Just into it,
So,
sending out.
Just doing into it, that's it. Everything
Yeah.
credit card or ACH, but he was trying to it. And it was taking 3 to 4 days to get your money. So as soon as I went over to Connect Booster, the number one thing was you get your money right away within 24 hours. The ACH though takes, several days because it's ACH.
Yeah.
What I liked about it was the speed on how you got your money, but number two was the integration to, let's say, ConnectWise and other platforms that allow you to see the invoice. And then other thing is I provide flexible payment plans from some of my customers for projects and stuff like that I was able to actually schedule payments ahead of time, and it was easier. Just like Tom, I process, well over 200K, and I get, I don't know, easily 150, 175, like boom, the first week. So my accounts receivable is like less than 7 days I get my money. So it's like right away. Now there is a cost associated to all that stuff, but when you look at it, if the more transactions you're doing, perhaps you might need a bookkeeper, controller, or somebody to do all this stuff manually and call people. So you're maybe switching some of that for more efficiency.
Yeah. So when you're looking at this, I mean, 7 days is like about as low as you're going to be able to get on anything, unless you're just doing purely of everything on auto pay of credit cards of some businesses.
That's how I do
much
it.
are you?
Auto pay.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing auto pay, but do you do one-off invoices also? Are you running that through? And what is that doing to accelerate those payments? Like if you're doing
It's-
hardware or something with
Yeah.
that, are you running it all through the same system?
Everything through the same system. So it's all through the same thing. So it's built into your contracts, your SLA. So if I sell you a project today and that's $5,000, I get paid in advance before I even start. So I don't wait for me to be done to collect any money or whatever. I don't know if you're gonna go to Mexico and disappear.
What
So
did,
what I'm hearing is you're setting the expectation right away up front in the sales process and the agreements that the quotes, everything is this is how I expect to get paid. This is how it works. This is how I'm going to deliver on time.
It's in your agreements.
Yeah.
Literally, hey, projects that are not included, here's the thing, we invoice the project, we collect and we get to work. And
do you have everyone that's going through of automatic through the system? Do you get any, you don't work necessarily with governments, libraries, that type of stuff like Brian. Do you
Well,
get?
that's different. Municipalities will pay you through that. There are some big, my biggest account has like 1,600 employees.
Yeah.
20 locations, they're massive. And they pay me with checks. But I got such a great relationship that they have a system similar to what this is, called Vendor Cafe, for their industry. We put it in, everything is there. I track if the invoices are paid, approved or not. But I gave my money in less than 30 days, all of it across the board. I may have a handful of customers, less than 5, that always mail a check on the first of the next month. Well, what can you do with those people? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go nuts on that.
Yeah, so we're talking here about ways to put more cash in your pockets automatically without growing revenue or offering more services and eliminating hours of work per month. I will note one thing is that for those that are on here, if you joined late, Brian Hamilton, who was supposed to be on, I just got a message from him. He had a family emergency he had to take care of, and so I don't think he's going to be able to make it on the call here. He apologized with it. So if you're saying, hey, I'm only seeing 2 MSPs here, where's the third one of where we're missing the other Brian with it? But talk about for you guys, and Brian, and we'll hop back over to you on this, is that what does it look like for you process wise when you're sending invoices through the system? What does that do of eliminating hours per month, not just of the processing, but also from a collection side of things? I remember with myself, I had an MSP business a while back. I was not using Connect Booster. I was doing the manual checks. I had a accountant that was doing it. There was a lot of time that was spent making the phone calls. Hey, the cash is getting low in the bank of let's make the phone calls, collection payments, that type of stuff, going through emails, everything else. Like, what has it done to be able to streamline, or has it streamlined processes for you from a admin side of things in the business?
Yeah, I think it has helped. A couple things. I mean, one, I just think we look more professional to our clients, and that was a contributing factor to move to this. We were bringing on new clients, and they were asking how they pay us, and we tell them, well, you send us a paper check, and they're like, well, aren't you a tech company? What, that's the best you can do. So, for us, that was part of it, but we do have the payment portal available now through there. So it's easier for our clients to see what they owe us and just be more clear and transparent to them where things are at and what they owe, which I think helps eliminate collections and overdue receivables. The other thing that I like, I don't do, I've got somebody that does a lot of the day-to-day process of generating the invoices, sending them out, processing all the receivables when they come in. So I don't do that on a day-to-day basis, but I do get a report from Connect Booster on a daily basis that shows me outstanding receivables, shows me any overdue receivables. And, that's nice because I can start asking questions to my team if I start seeing numbers go sideways. And, we do still have somebody that reaches out if we have, if we have to gently remind clients, or more than gently remind clients. Luckily, we don't have too many that we have to do more than gentle reminders on. But, like I mentioned earlier, the other thing that's nice too is that we don't have to, especially the last couple of COVID years, USPS was a little hit and miss. So we did lose more checks in the mail. So from a overdue and collection standpoint, that helped things just because we didn't have as many questionable losses of checks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool with that. But I mean, it's one of those I actually haven't heard. I've seen a demo of Connect Booster a number of times on some of the webinars and things that we've done, and I hadn't heard about that report. So you're getting a report emailed to you on a daily basis that shows, hey, here's our past dues. Is it here's our past dues, or here's what we have as receivables that are out there by aging?
Yeah, so I get a report that shows us what we do, mostly ACH. And I get a report on what we brought in, and then as well as the outstanding receivables and aging information on that. So. And
it shows it by customer.
No, it's a roll up. I don't know. There might be a way to get it by customer, but what I have is just a roll up.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, is that a report that's standard, something a band of us set up? Can you customize that within the system of getting that daily reporting?
I believe so. And yeah, to get like, specific information, it's just a matter of logging into the portal to see a specific client.
So like if you see it going sideways,
your top 10, accounts that are owing, it's right there in the dashboard to click in and see what's going on with those. As well as seeing like your cash flow calendar, which is kind of helpful. A lot of people like using that, where they can see when scheduled payments or auto payments are coming in throughout the month, and that's just all in the dashboard.
Yeah.
And of course, I think Pedro mentioned the integration. So, we use ConnectWise, so it's all integrated. So that's nice, just that everything flows pretty smoothly between our systems.
You use ConnectWise, and then you use QuickBooks for accounting side of things.
Exactly.
Okay. So Pedro, for you, what have you seen on the? I mean, you don't have a whole lot of collections, is what I'm hearing.
No. So look.
And you've been using it for a while.
Yeah. So the benefit of something like this is by you looking at your whole process, right? So, for example, we use Quarter for all of our quotes, and that integrates to every single PSA that is out there. Writing Quarter, I could, and I did it, for a while. Had my send a quote to you, you click approve, and literally ask you, hey, you want to pay for it right there, and that will pay, and it will go directly into Connect Booster as a payment, and that will sync over to your QuickBooks, and then next thing you know, you have a credit before you even invoice. You invoice, you match the number, boom, it's done, it's paid for. You could do that. It's all about efficiencies, right? You're talking about the topic of this the webinar is how you can put more cash. Name of the game, especially moving to next year in the recession that we're in, is efficiency. How do you do less? How do you automate? How do you save every single penny? So I, for instance, I think I mentioned at the beginning of in October, had a huge contract with a municipality that ended because of politics. And I lost 600,000. That's a big blow. You know, I'm making like 4 million. So I said to myself, crap, if I'm losing that in October, I started looking at my numbers in July and I started cutting. And I went from, you know, cutting staff, looking at all these different things that are discretionary, things that I didn't need. And then how can I do more with less? End of story. And after 3 months, I actually was able to cut like over $800,000. So I actually have a surplus for next year that it happened next year. And the revenue that I lost, I already got like half of that back. Make sense? Because I'm in hustle mode. So Connect Boost is a great platform, but only if you're willing to put in the work to think through on how you're going to leverage it to be efficient. You know, it's not rocket science, but it's also not automated. Make sense? You have to think about it. In regards to reporting, there's a lot of reporting inside Connect Booster, but I don't use that personally. I mean, I log in and look at the dashboard. I got $200,000, you know, outstanding, whatever, yada, 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 this and that. Which account has the biggest balance? All that stuff is in there. I use all the reporting within BrandGauge that is customized, that I created from scratch for me to know certain things, cash flow, you know, whatever, like all these different metrics that I need to know that my cash flow is improving month over month. And if it's not, then why? Where's the money going? Right? But Connect Booster is all about the efficiency. One thing that Brian said is about looking more professional and giving that expectation to other customers out there that basically that you know what the heck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like for instance, why wouldn't you be able to see your invoices online? You know, why wouldn't you be able? But for me, one of the things that I like about Connect Booster the most is that schedule payments. You know, if you're my customer and we're doing a $20,000 project, I give you 12 months to pay it. You know, and that makes you happy. And I just go in and schedule everything.
So talk a little bit about, and Pedro, we'll start with you on this, but Brian, I want to get your input on this, is that, you know, going into 2023, the expectation is that businesses are going to get hit hard on this. Whenever that happens, then cash flow slows down. That's one of the strategies that some businesses will take, is to delay further of what my payments are going to be, whether it's related to Connect Booster or just overall. I mean, Pedro, you've already been going through and working through this already yourself to be able to improve this and the systems that you have. What are strategies that you see or that you need to double down on in 2023 to be able to make sure that 7-day aging isn't turning into 14 days, 20 days with customers here as things get tougher for them and they've got to conserve cash?
Well, that's a hard question because if I just signed a contract today with a customer, you know, 10 grand a month, and he knows that we have a contract. He's going to give me ACH or credit card, and on the first of the month I'm billing. He's done. If he's having difficulties with his payment and whatnot, I cannot speak as to that. That's a collection problem that I have that I will have to handle. But one of the things that is crucial is making sure that you have a system in place that allows you to get paid ASAP, right? Once you have enough cash flow, then you can perhaps look into saying, hey, you know what? I have enough cash flow that I don't need to get a 200K like the first week of the month. Can I switch to ACH to maybe reduce the cost of the fees? And instead of paying 6 grand a month, 7 grand a month, maybe I can just pay $2,000 a month, whatever, right? Because every penny comes back. Those are the type of things you have to, you know, evaluate, but every MSP is different. And I don't know what the cash flow situation is for everybody. You know, knock on wood, I have a good thing going. So that's why I give flexibility and I try to leverage everything that I got towards the benefit of the clients. You know, for next year, the number one thing that I tell everybody is value. Value, you know, bringing value to the table in every single aspect to your clients, to your prospect, whichever way you can, and that'll put more money back in your pocket. That's a different conversation.
So you mentioned something on there as part of it as the ACH versus credit card. What do you end up seeing? How do you approach that with customers? Do you give them the option, you can pay credit card or ACH? Do they pay different based on that? Or
So,
do
so
they get a
look, I
discount for
process,
doing ACH?
yeah, so I process close to 200K in transactions. So I would say 25%, maybe 20 to 25% is ACH, which is checks, right? Easy peasy and whatever, those are okay. And those type of customers, they don't mind. However, the other kind, right? They want their points.
Yeah.
So, and there's no getting them out of there. But those points, you're the one paying for them.
Yeah,
And it's okay when you're processing 30,000, 50,000. But once you get past 150, ouch. And that's when you start to thinking, because you may look at it, but then at the end of the year, when you're spending $80,000 in credit card fees, that's what I said at the beginning. You have to know based on cash flow when to start maybe having the conversation with your clients and saying, hey, Jeff, moving forward due to excessive, credit card fees and whatnot, we need you to pay us with ACH. Otherwise, we're gonna have to charge you a 2% credit card fee. And you're gonna bitch more, which is $20, if it's $1,000, whatever, or $60, it's $3,000. But those are the tough conversations. Right now, I'm opting for not having the conversation because people are looking for any way possible, whatever, to basically reduce their costs and cut your agreement or start a fight because everybody's feeling the squeeze.
yeah. Are there ways on that you could actually, I mean, what are you paying on for you, Pedro, what are you paying on a credit card? 3%?
I ain't got no clue, man. I just look at the whole bill. It's like 80 grand a year. And so I don't measure things by that. That's looking at pennies. I look at
Yeah.
the year. Like I said at the beginning, I lost 600,000. It took me 3 months to find $150,000 back. Because whatever. Like this month, I just literally cut 5 grand a month. I renegotiated my backups, say $1,700 a month. Renegotiated. I was doing some branding with SEO stuff that I don't need. Because I spent like 10 grand or 13 grand in pay-per-click already. I eliminated that as 2 grand a month. That's this year $3,700. And then there was another 1,300 or something else. But the whole point is 55,000 times 12 months, 60K to the bottom line.
Yeah.
I let go of some employees because I was looking and I'm saying your performance is not adequate. Every single one of you should be able to do X amount of different things. So now everybody's increased their performance, adding more efficiency. We're switching over to auto tasks, just that. Everything else is okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because efficiencies, right? If I can eliminate 3-4 clicks per ticket on a tech, and that equals 2 minutes, it's money back to the bottom line.
Yeah.
I measure all that stuff.
Brian, how about you on government, or how much when we hit a recession do you see on your government clients
Well,
of how that affects them?
yeah, knock on wood, hopefully we'll be in good shape. And the reason is most of their budgets are set in July of this past year. And their funding is all secured for the next year. All that's formulated and ready to go. So, if we see impacts from the economy in general, it's a little slower. It's a little slower coming to us. It can still hit us, but it takes time to roll in or out.
Thank God for inflation.
Yeah. So, inflation is an interesting one because I'm now trying to raise our prices with everyone. And they're like, oh, wait, we only have, this funding set aside and we planned this a year ago. And so I'm having to balance that a little bit. They usually have some movement there, but it's a interesting dance with them sometimes in that regard. So
do you also have, I can't recall what you said at the beginning, Brian, do you also have non-government clients?
We do have some non-government clients. So far they've through COVID, we didn't have any impacts. We didn't lose a single client through COVID. So I'm hoping that continues. Our main strategy there is we're still targeting and planning for aggressive growth next year. So, that's what we're gonna try to do, and hopefully we're successful at it. And if we do happen to lose something, if we add some others that meet or exceed that, then we're in good shape.
How do you approach that with the new non-government clients? Do you do it differently of when you're approaching them? Is it just the default now that your ACH or credit card right from the beginning and you don't really have an option?
We are, I'd like to say yes, absolutely. It's all 100% auto pay. We are trying to move to that. We're certainly trying to set that expectation up front and just roll that messaging out from the beginning. We do still get occasionally some pushback, and I'm not going to blow up a deal over it. We do, talking about, you guys were talking ACH and credit cards. Right now we're 100% ACH, mostly because of the costs around credit cards, and the government side of the house doesn't want to pay with credit cards anyway. I completely understand on the business side where some of our customers would probably like to pay for their points. But to Pedro's point, if it's just costing me money to get them their points, I don't know if I see pushback there, if that ever is I have yet to see that come up in the sales cycle where they ask that, and that's going to blow up the deal if we don't accept credit cards. Our NPS scores are still super high, so we don't have a problem with client satisfaction right now. So if we don't, then why spend more money unnecessarily on something that I'm not sure they really, I think some would like, but I don't think it's a major factor.
Yeah, so that's a great way of putting more money in the pocket. Ryan, what do you see as strategies that that your clients are using in pushing people towards ACH payments to minimize those fees?
So a lot of times what we will talk about is like a best practice. So when we bring on a new Connect Booster client, the first step is, how do I get my existing clients on board? And in that case, it's offering two different pricing strategies, where if someone wants to pay with credit card, that's okay. But the price is a little bit adjusted for that. Whereas ACH is more beneficial financially for the MSP. So we're trying to funnel those payments to ACH when available, when it's possible. You're not going to blow up a deal. You're not going to have someone leave you over that amount of money. But if you incentivize them, and like what Brian's saying, trying to increase some of your pricing, well, you got to do that on an annual basis, maybe semi-annual. At that point, that's a really good opportunity to say, hey, my prices are going to go up 3% because of inflation, but if you get it on auto pay now and pay with ACH, I'm going to actually give you a 3% credit. So it's a net wash for what you're paying right now. And that's gone over pretty well. And we've had a lot of clients go down that kind of path. Whereas if someone is really dead set, no, I got to pay with credit card just because of their cash flow potential issues, you're still allowing that, but then now you're upping their price, and you're getting that accomplished, and both feel like they're winning in the situation.
Cool. All right. One thing that I wanted to do real quick, and then we'll go to any final comments, things that you guys have to be able to give advice on this about putting more cash in their pockets, is that we do have MSP Success Yetis, and they are real Yetis, as I think Mike Stadola, our CMO, put on the email that went out. It's not Fetties or whatever it is of the Yeezys. I think he said it's not a Yeezy, it's not a Fetty, it's not a Yeti, or it is a Yeti here. So very cool with it. And we want to bribe you to come and check out Connect Booster. So if you go to, and I'm going to post it up in the chat here, that it's going to be MSP Success Magazine. And as soon as I did that, it was gone. But if you go to MSP Success Magazine and now it's blowing up on me. I'll drop it in the chat here with it, that you are going to be able to get your own Yeti for yourself with that. So I'll make sure that I get that. Why don't we go with you guys here real quick before I'll make sure that I get you the URL with it here. Pedro, any last comments that you have for everyone on managing cash flow? You've been doing a lot of this already over the last year to be able to improve things, put more money in your pocket. What are your top couple strategies that you would say, based in your experience, for everyone going into 2023?
Automation and efficiency when it comes to the topic that we're discussing today.
And value, right?
Efficiency. Say that again.
And value.
Well, yeah, that's value. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's part of the automation and efficiency. Value is closing deals and looking forward for what's going to happen next year. That's a different conversation.
So with automation and efficiency, I mean, within that, where have you gotten the biggest gains on that when you talk about cash flow with the automation?
It's once again, it's process. Like literally most people don't draw out what they're doing. They just think in their head, they go do it thinking that it's going to work. Number one. Number two, they don't delegate to the right people, right? So for me, I have a process. All of my invoices for the particular week are 100% done by Friday, and they're 100% reviewed, check balance, and invoiced by Monday, and processed with payment and everything, and in the beginning of the month, by the 29th, all of my agreements are done. By the first they go out, and by the first noontime, the credit cards are invoiced. It's all about process, and it happens like a religion, like you go to church every week.
Awesome. Brian, any last comments for you? What are your top strategies?
Yeah, I mean, Pedro took almost exactly what I was going to say. Automation is key, and this is a great area to do it. Payment processing. Why do that manually? There's easier ways to do it, as well as having a portal for your clients where they can see what they owe and why they owe it. It's just going to make everything easier, make things faster, get your money in the door faster, and ultimately make your clients happier, I think. So, that's if you're not doing that on some platform, you need to.
Yeah, and I'd add to it too, because I just saw this on the page. So it's mspsuccessmagazine.com/billing demo is the website. If you go there, sign up, and here's what it looks like of the page here. You sign up for this today for a demo of Connect Booster to check this out for yourself. Guys, I'll make sure that I send each of you one of these, since you're already Connect Booster customers. So Pedro and Brian, I'll make sure we get one in the mail to you.
Get me two, because if you give me one, my worst half, not my better half, my worst half. Now she would.
I thought it was with the 5 kids.
Well, that too.
Here, I'm not sending one for every one of your kids. You got to have your kids share.
Just 2 things.
What you'll see on this right here is that over 40% of our TMTs, Producers Club members, that are using Connect Booster today. And there's a reason for it. It's the efficiency of it. It's taking these things, automating, building processes in. Producers Club members are, the size of Pedro's business and Brian's business and many others. But I would emphasize for this is that this is not just for when you get bigger, as that this is a way to be able to show that you are a professional company, that you are a solid business here, that you are someone that is on top of technology of doing this. You're not just sending out, just an email out there and doing things the old style. People are used to the convenience of being able to have that billing platform to be able to see what is it, how can I pay, how can I automate. They don't want to talk to someone. They don't want to pick up the phone and call someone and figure out, hey, what's my invoice, what's my bill with that. And so I would encourage you. The one last thing that I would say on this is, and I know this just because I've gone through a number of demos of it, is that two things. One is that through the end of the year, I know we've got Ryan, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. I was told this on demo day a couple of weeks ago. Through the end of the year, but it's ending January 1st, is that for TMT members, we've got free onboarding, or you guys have free onboarding.
Yep.
For Connect Booster.
I'm getting beat up on that, so it's going away. So we gotta take advantage of it now. Yep.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that we've got specific TMT member pricing that you have for all new customers. And so advantageous pricing that you have of being able to take advantage of it. So, something to definitely come in, check out, get it, take advantage of that. If you really want to start out the year with a big bang of making sure that you're putting these processes in place, then get registered with it for the, you're going to get, at minimum, you're going to get a MSP Success Yeti tumbler for your time. But also, if you do sign up in the next 10 days, you're going to end up getting that free. That is not a gimmick, I know, in talking with Ryan on it, of where it truly was a big of where it's kind of losing money. It takes a number of months to be able to, for Connect Booster to make that money up here. And it was just something that economically wasn't working well, but they were gracious enough to extend it through the end of the year here. And so you still have that advantage of being able to take advantage of it. And if you do it in the next 10 days, you can get that. Ryan, do you want to make a comment about, Thane was asking about on the pricing? I know you can get that on the demo. How does that range, or just high level of just talk about with Connect Booster of what the, how the price works?
Yeah, takeaway is you sign up for that demo. Within 15 minutes, you're going to see an ROI. I don't care how big or small you are. You could be one guy in a basement with one client. You're going to see an ROI. It's going to start off at $149, and then it's going to scale up based on how much volume you're running through it. But you'll be able to see the full structure of how it works on the demo. When you're dealing with payment processing, right? There's a lot of things that come along with that, but just to give you an idea, if if you're saving 1 hour of work a month, it's paid for just in your time. But if you're working with some other payment processing company, we're going to be able to meet or beat whatever the processing rates are that you're dealing with. And then we're going to add a whole bunch of automation that you're not going to get from anything else.
Yeah. So it's two-tiered pricing. You've got a monthly fee based on your volume. And then you've got, depending on, ACH is super cheap per transaction. And then credit cards, there's credit card processing fees. Like you said, that at minimum, you'll, if not beat, you'll match the pricing of what they've got right now on the credit card fees. But I would encourage you, I know I did see a message here where we've got quite a number of people on the webinar that have already signed up for this. So make sure that you get signed up for it. You got 10 days you can always get that $500 onboarding waived here before the end of the year. So great on timing with that, with it. But otherwise, guys, I wanted to thank you for your time on today's call, sharing some of the insights that you've had in growing very successful MSP businesses. Brian, get back out there on the slopes before things freeze there. And Pedro, the cold is coming to you. I've got for you, I should send this to you, Pedro, for you and your 5 kids. This is the Indiana Jones. It's the god of fertility.
I got rum, man. I'm good.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great year, end of the year, and we'll see you again in 2023.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys. See you.